Now, let's go and have a look at what's happening now with the market total, and I'll try to explain to you why. I've had some messages from people inside our group wondering why there has been a sharp price rise in Bitcoin, but it hasn't really correlated yet out to the alternate coins. So we're just going to have a quick look at that, and I'll give you my theory on what's happening. Okay, so as we always do, we start off with the coin heat map to see where things are at on the market. At the moment, everything's pretty much in the green. I'd say we're more than 75 to 80% in the green at the moment. Bitcoin's looking good at 61,000, Ethereum heading towards 4,000, Solana about $160. So fairly much, and Polkadot, which we'll go through later as well, has had a big rise over the last couple of days. So Polkadot obviously been in our portfolio for those that are in part of the traders group. XRP looking good at $1.14. Cardano's back up at $2.21. Let's have a look at the overall charts and see where things have been for the last 30 days. Bitcoin up 27.7%, Ethereum up 6.56%, Binance Coin up 10.02%. If you scroll down and have a look at some of these altcoins, you can see that Polkadot, which we just mentioned is up today, is up a whopping 21% for the month, which is terrific. But in the last 7 days is up an incredible 32%. So looking good there for those investors that hold Polkadot. We've got Dogecoin here, down a little bit at the moment. Overall up 3.9% for the last 24 hours, but overall down 3% for the last 30 days. So probably not much movement there, really. Stable coins, as always, aren't doing much. Polygon or Matic is up a nice 20% for the last 24 hours, which is nice to see. Polygon Matic is also part of our investment portfolio for those that are following what we're investing in on this crypto channel. Stellar up 9.69% and up 9.43% for the month, so pretty stable there as well. Not a great deal of movement with Stellar at the moment. So that's where things are at on the market, just as a quick snapshot. Now, let's go and have a look at what's happening now with the market total, and I'll try to explain to you why. I've had some messages from people inside our group wondering why there has been a sharp price rise in Bitcoin, but it hasn't really correlated yet out to the alternate coins. So we're just going to have a quick look at that, and I'll give you my theory on what's happening. So again, we're going back to our chart that we always do to start with, of the total market cap. For those that have just seen this channel for the first time, we've predicted or looked at the fact that the market tends to work in a number of different cycles. The smaller cycle at the moment being a 10-day cycle, and that 10-day cycle is made up of 3 10-day cycles, which gives you a slightly larger 31-day cycle on average. There are larger cycles outside of that. You'll hear on Twitter and everywhere else about the 4-year cycle, but at the moment, because we're looking at this on a weekly basis, it's really the 31-day cycle that we're more than interested in. So what has happened? Well, we've bounced off this resistance line as we said we would. When I made the last video, we were sitting around about here, and I mentioned to the group that we had bounced off this resistance line here, came up quite strongly, and we wanted to see the peak happen at the last third of this cycle, which means you want to see the peak happen in the last 10 days. That's an incredibly bullish sign, and I would guess that we are seeing that now. I think there's only 10 days left, or less, of this current cycle. And we have breached the all-time high. So the all-time high happened back here in May, 13th of May, 12th of May, there with a high of, sorry, I've got to move my face out of the screen there. It was a high of 2.58 trillion. We've now hit a high of 2.606 trillion with yesterday's movements. So that is very, very bullish. However, we didn't close above the high. So for me, it doesn't mean that we're in a bearish territory. It just means that there might be a little bit more consolidation happening before the market actually does take off. So we really want to see the close happen above this line here. What happened is it traded through it. If we just blow the screen up there, and you can see the open, the high, the low, and the close for the day. It traded well above it and then came back down. Maybe some people were selling off, taking profits, getting a little bit concerned, and we closed below it. Now, while the whole market's moving up quite strongly, as I mentioned, some people have not seen that reflected in their portfolio holdings, with many alternate coins like Digibyte, XLM, Bitcoin Cash, XRP, Zilliqa, really haven't made much of a move over this, we'll call this probably a 2 to 3 week period. It's kind of stayed stagnated over that time for the alternate coins. So I actually don't know why that's happening at the moment. Generally speaking, the alternate coins are tied very closely to the movement of Bitcoin. However, this is my theory. So let's just go to the Bitcoin chart for a moment. And this is the Bitcoin price action that's been in play. Again, this is a daily chart that's been happening at the moment over the last couple of, well, anyway, since as long as the chart goes back. But primarily we're looking at this area here that's happened since around about September. So the last, say, 2 months. While we had a nice little breakout here of a little pennant, and while that breakout was great, we had a small little consolidation here, again at the same levels that we saw this distribution pattern happen quite a while ago, back in February and March, and now we're starting to see Bitcoin come close to breaching its all-time high. My theory is that once this high is broken, so once Bitcoin reaches a high of 64,895. This is US dollars, remember. So correlate that to Australian dollars, it's a lot more. But $64,895, we want to see that breach happen. And we want to see Bitcoin close above that level there. We don't want to see it trade above and then come back down and close under it. We want to see a positive momentum by that closing above the all-time high. My theory is, and my prediction is, once that happens, all the rest of the coins will follow. That will give the market a sure indication that we're in for a very strong bullish run. And I think this run will last anywhere between 3 to maybe 5 months. There'll be pullbacks along the way. It'll move up and down throughout that, but overall it'll be more stronger and more bullish than not. So that's where things are at the moment. If we go back to the chart here, we can see that the total market cap has breached that. We're just really waiting for Bitcoin to do it. The rest of the market is really being held back by all the alternate coins, and now there are, I don't know how many there are probably thousands of alternate coins out there. So those moves haven't quite happened yet. Now, there have been a few that have moved. So if we go and have a look at Veracity, that's moved up really strongly over the last 2 weeks, which has been terrific to see. If we have a look at Polygon, Matic, you have a look at the rise it had yesterday, went from a low of $1.23 all the way up to a high of $1.63. So that's a really bullish move, which looks terrific. And if you're a holder of that, you'd be very happy as well. All the others are kind of stable. I'd say they're not stagnant, but they're just moving in a very slow position or in a sideways movement at the moment. Theta, of course, one of my favorite holdings and favorite projects on the blockchain network, hasn't done a great deal. I don't think that Theta is over by any stretch of the imagination. I would imagine it will breach its high of $16 or $17 very soon. I predict before the end of the year. I think we're going to start seeing some strong moves out of Theta and the Theta network. Holo, which is another one of my favorites. I got into this really when it was just a young project on the blockchain network. Again, moving sideways. I don't think it's going to be over yet. I think it will start to rally as soon as the rest of the market starts making its move. Ethereum's been looking good as well. We can see that's had a nice little consolidation pattern here, and it's really made some tremendous moves up over the last couple of weeks. So again, there's a lot of bullish movements in the market. It's just the larger coins that are moving the market, that hasn't trickled down yet to the alternate coins. I do think that will happen. When will that happen? I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if we had a slightly sideways movement for the last 10 days of this cycle, or a downwards movement. Often the market will have to come back and reassess itself before it bounces back up again. So, you can expect that over the next, probably over the next week. As it's done in the past, if we have a look at all the highs, all the peaks that were made, they were always made prior to the end of the cycle, and we always had a pullback into the end of the cycle. So again, we're in the middle of a cycle here. We're probably on about day 20, day 21. I would expect it to drop back. That's my gut feel. I'm not saying it won't be more bullish and just continue to rise. It's very possible, but I think it's got a higher chance of coming back a little bit, and maybe even just resting around this 1.35 trillion mark before it does its next leap. So that's where things are at the moment, guys. So I hope that's good information for you. If you've got any comments, please leave them below. If you can like and subscribe this page on YouTube, it really helps the channel. I'd really appreciate that a lot. Thanks very much. Have a great day.